Welcome back to another installment of In Your Face. So, it's really time to be extremely honest with y'all. So, it is, I think, almost noon. I have not been out of bed, haven't even been out of bed to pee, like your first morning pee, brush my teeth, nothing. I mean, my bonnet, my sleeping mask, everything's still on my head. I just want to talk about depression today and psychotic breaks because your girl had one. This video is intended for mature audiences only. Trigger warning, it's about depression and suicide, so please, only adults. So depression, I feel like everyone is familiar with. If you're not familiar with it, I don't know what to tell you. I refer to it as a black hole. Because that's exactly what it feels like to me. Like, it feels like you were sucked in this black hole, this abyss, and you can't get out. Like, no matter what you do, no matter how positive you try to be, you're just like trapped there. And like, there's nothing really anyone can say to get you out of it. Like, you basically have to like claw your way out of it yourself. Like, it's a lot, and it comes in waves, and a lot of times people don't really like hearing about it because they think, oh, you're being dramatic, or life isn't that hard, or it could be so much worse. And don't get me wrong, when I'm in those moments, I definitely think that. Like, I'm like, wow, like, obviously life could be so much worse. But like, first of all, don't tell anybody that, okay? Like, when someone is going through something, please don't tell them it could be so much worse. That, I guarantee you they are aware of that. I guarantee they are aware of that. So you don't need to say that, because it basically is telling that person, listen, I'm not really going to validate that you're going through some things, because you could be going through stuff way worse than this. And like, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. I understand that it could be way worse. I completely understand that. But right now in this moment, my brain, I am sucked into a black hole. I don't want to hear any of that. And I'm sorry, but when people are being positive and you're like depressed, that also doesn't help either. Like, you kind of just have to like be there for that person, let them vent, and just listen. Because you being positive, it's like falling on deaf ears because they're depressed. So, last week, Tuesday, I was at a loss for words. So basically I waited 2 hours. I logged in to unemployment at like 9:40 a.m. the website. Ow, it's cat hair all over my face. And I did not log in until 11:20. So just a short of 2 hours I waited. When I got in there, so if anyone's ever been on unemployment, you have to like request your benefits weekly, or every 2 weeks, excuse me. But it like asks you the past 2 weeks, like, have you applied to jobs, and like where and when and what was the outcome? Like, did they hire you? Did they not hire you? Did they respond to you? Did they not respond to you? Did you just submit an application and you're waiting? Blah, blah, blah. So basically I did that, and I was only able to complete the first week. And actually, I couldn't even hit submit. It like kicked me out 3 times. And on the third and final time, it made me wait in line again. And when I tell you my blood was boiling, it was boiling. I was so furious. Like, just insanely furious. Like, where they do that at, like, how do they? I couldn't even finish. So anyways, my blood was boiling. I like wanted to scream and punch everything in my room, but I didn't. I just took a super deep breath, and I was like, all right, this time, so it kicked me out, I think, at like 11:45 or something. I didn't get back in there until 2 o'clock. So over 2 hours. I get in there, and it wouldn't let me access where I just was. So, like, it basically, like, you have to enter your PIN and your social, and then it'll take you to, like, your page. It made me keep entering my social and my PIN, like, repeatedly over and over and over. And then finally, I think it was, like, the 5th time it made me do that, I just closed out of it because there was just no... And at this point, I was just, like, done. Like, I was finished. So, after that, Chris came home because he, like, went to work for a few hours and then came back. And at this point, I was so irritated and angry that I basically took it out on him. And I didn't, like, communicate, like, what I was going through, like, what just happened. I was just, like, frustrated, and I was like, this happened. And, like, but I didn't, like, explain it in detail. And so then he thought I was mad at him when it had nothing to do with him. He was just, like, the first person in the line of fire. You know what I mean? Like, when you're upset, it sucks because sometimes you can't control it. It's harder to control your frustration. It's easier to just let it run loose like a cannon. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, that's what I did. And I took it out on him, and then I left. And I drove out. We have a park about like 5-10 minutes. It's like 7 minutes away from the house. And I just like cried in the car. Trigger warning. I haven't had this happen to me in a really, really long time. I was feeling so low and overwhelmed that, like, the thoughts that were going through my head, I really didn't want to be here anymore, you guys. There's no way to sugarcoat that. God, it's so much harder talking about it. Especially because, like, I know this is going on the internet, you know? Like, it's not just like I'm talking to my husband and we're, like, alone and I can relay all this information. Like I said, I told you guys before, I don't like using the word. But this was the first time that I wasn't afraid of dying. Like, this was the first time where I let my thoughts take so much control that, like, I just didn't care. Like, I didn't care who I would have left behind. I didn't care about anything. I was so into my own feelings and my own turmoil that, like, I was just done. I wanted it to go away. Like, I just didn't want to do life anymore. And what's so crazy is that I was raised very, like, religious, and I've always been terrified of hell. And this one day I was not. I didn't care about what would happen. If hell was real, is real, whatever you believe in or what have you, I didn't care because I was feeling so heavy. And that's, like, the perfect way to explain it. I was feeling so heavy. Like, it felt like my body weighed a ton. And I sat in my car and I, like, couldn't move. I couldn't talk. I've never felt this before. I don't know if anyone's ever felt this before. To me, I just classify it as a psychotic break because it felt like I snapped. Like, it felt like something in my brain snapped. And I don't say depression or use the word lightly. But I think Tuesday was the first time I've ever outwardly expressed that I need to see a therapist. And I know that that's what it is. Like, I know I have some things going on and I need to express it. I think there's a lot of things manifesting that I've suppressed for a lot of years. And I think one of them is the illusion of perfectionism. Like, it doesn't exist, but I put myself on such a high pedestal that, like, when things don't go the way I planned, I basically crumble. And one of the huge things was the fact that I was not planning on being unemployed. I just wasn't. And on top of that, I wasn't planning on still being unemployed. I've been applying to positions that I have experience in. It's not like I'm trying to apply to be a CEO of, like, a fashion industry. Like, I have my entire background is customer service and administrative work. And I've been applying and they're like, nope, not selected. We chose someone else. And, like, that continuously saying, like, not selected and just being rejected over and over again. And you know how hard you work and you know your work ethic. And you just know what you bring to the table. It just sucks, dude. Like, it sucks continuously trying to pull yourself out of the black hole. And Tuesday, I just let myself get consumed by it. I just gave up, and it was really hard. My mind was in a lot of dark places. I felt extremely disoriented, and I've never felt that before. Like, I felt like a completely different human. Just super fuzzy, like, my brain, like, and like I said, I couldn't even really talk. Like, I just felt defeated and alone and extremely overwhelmed. Like, there's no other way to put that. I just cracked. I turned my phone off, and then when I turned it back on, Chris and I had a conversation, and he came to the park, and we talked, and he just held me, and it's just, it sucks looking back on that day, because, I mean, it was only a few days ago, but it sucks that I've always just looked at myself as so strong and resilient, and I cracked over an unemployment website. Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, I know, like, that wasn't all of it, because everything I've ever been angry about was just, like, oozing out of my body, like, oozing out of my pores. Like, I couldn't even put into words, like, how I was feeling. Like, it was a lot, and I pray I never feel that way again, because that was the closest I've ever been to just saying goodbye. Yeah, and it was heavy. It was really heavy. Very heavy. Yesterday I wasn't feeling so great. Not like Tuesday, but I'm trying really, really hard to remain positive and grateful. Every day when I wake up, I recite 3 things that I'm grateful for. Just start my day with, like, a grateful heart and a clear mind. So yeah, it's crazy how when you are in depression, your depressed state, it's like you forget everything you've ever accomplished in life. Like, I'm going to school to get dual licensed, and something that I've been wanting to have under my belt since the beginning of time. Like, I forgot about the fact that I stepped out of my comfort zone and moved to Florida, and I forgot about the fact that I stayed in jobs where it felt like they were cracking me every day, but I stayed there because I'm resilient and I'm a hard worker and I'm strong. So Tuesday was just a painful reminder that I am human. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a painful reminder that, like, if you don't talk about stuff and you don't have a safe place, like, if you don't release a lot of that negativity, it will come back and it will, like, really try to drown you. And I learned that I still sometimes have a very much single mentality. Not like, I'll explain what I mean. When I say single mentality, it's more like I can do everything by myself. All this pain I'm feeling, I have to deal with it by myself. All this struggle, all these emotions I'm feeling, I have to deal with it by myself because I'm the only one who has my back. You know what I mean? Like, even though Chris and I will be together for 7 years and 2 weeks. And to this day, I still struggle to, like, pass on the torch. You know what I mean? Like, I still struggle to say, hey, I'm dealing with this. The tidal wave has hit. I need you. Like, I need your help. I can't carry this. Like, and I've had this mentality for a very long while. In the past, there's been situations where I was the only one who had my back. And growing up, a lot of the times, I mean, I am the oldest. And I think that just kind of, you're very, like, maternal when you're the older sibling. You're just very much like, I gotta look out for everybody else, have to make sure everybody else is good. And then you worry about yourself later. And I think that's what I've been doing. I've been focused on everyone else instead of, like, asking for help, you know what I mean? And this is why I started this series, because I know I'm not the only one. I know so many super strong, independent women and men, and I know how hard it is to ask for help, and I know how hard it is to talk about the things that go on in your head and the dark side of your brain, man. Like, it's there. You have to, like, release that. You have to. But I am doing much better. I, have my days where I'm, like, sad and want to be alone and sleep. Today, I, like, dedicated to just lying in bed all day. I don't have school today. So it's, like, the first day. Fridays are, like, my days to myself where I just, like, do absolutely nothing, because I have school Monday through Thursday and Saturdays. So during the week, I'm, like, doing homework or projects or whatever. I do actually have to do a test review because I have a test tomorrow. But other than that, I'm just chilling, and I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad that I am taking this time to just lay down. And don't let people make you feel bad. That's another thing. People will always have something to say. Always have something to say. Don't pay no mind. It's your life, your mind. It's all you, boo. I wanted to rhyme. All right, y'all. I'm going to let you go with all my love, all my good vibes, my support. I'm here for you. Thank you for choosing to be here with me. Thank you for choosing to be here on planet Earth, another day in paradise. And we're going to get through it. Thank you for watching this. I know this was lengthy and the animals are fighting. And I know it was heavy. It was very heavy. But mental health, man. And we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about it. You guys, remember to take time for you today. Take time for yourself. I cannot stress that enough. No matter if that's just hiding out in a corner, listening to music, or drawing, or watching your favorite TV show, or just being by yourself and not on your phone, or being on your phone and vibing with yourself. Like, do it. I'm all about it. It's necessary. It's essential. It's mandatory. 2021, all about you, baby. All about you. Mental health, sexual health, emotional health. All that. The glow up is real. 2021, I'm not playing. 2021, the glow up I'm coming for the glow up in every aspect of my life, and I want you to do the same. Remember to stay safe, stay sane, woo, and be well. I love you guys. Thanks for watching.